You've seen him on TV. You've read his books. And now you're hearing him live. This is the Kevin Trudeau Show. 888-99-KEVIN.
Welcome, Kevin Trudeau here live in the studio, and I think, yes, do we have video? Video is on. Welcome, everyone. Thank you for joining me. I just got back from an amazing trip down in the Caribbean with, we had 10 of us went down there, and we had an amazing time of eating nonstop, getting sun, playing golf, drinking, playing salad bowl. Does anyone know what salad bowl is out there? Anyone know what salad bowl is? Well, it's kind of a cross between charades and password and a bunch of different games. We just had an amazing time, and we're back now live. Glad to have you here. A lot of stuff this week. A lot of stuff to talk about. I got this in the mail, an email, and I thought this was pretty. I thought this was very, very funny. It basically is talking about how the year was, 2010. And, the economy's kind of messed up. Things are going on crazy. I don't know if you knew this, but states passed a record 35,000 new laws last year. That's a record, 35,000 new laws. We have well over 5 million laws on the books in the United States of America. There are more laws and more regulations in the United States of America than any country in the world, more than China, more than Russia, more than Iran, Iraq, North Korea. We have more laws than any other country in the world, and every year we have an increase in the number of laws than we did the previous year. It's out of control, the number of rules and regulations and laws. I was in Boston with my family over Christmas, and we went to this pizza joint, Santapio's Pizza, which is a spectacular pizza joint in the Boston area, in East Boston for years, and they opened up another one in Peabody, Massachusetts. So we went up to Santapio's, and as I was waiting to get seated, I noticed that they had this display case with all of these permits listed. And I was looking at the permits, and there were 12 required permits that the restaurant had to get and pay for in order to open up. 12. And they had to display these permits prominently. Otherwise, it's a crime. 12. And I remember a buddy of mine went down to Dominican Republic to kind of retire. So he went into the city hall down in the Dominican Republic and said, I'm moving here to the Dominican Republic. I just arrived, and I want to open up a bar. What do I need? And the government official said, you need liquor. The guy said, no, I know that. But what permits do I need? And the government official says, you don't need any permits. Just open up a bar. What are you here for? He says, well, back in America, the land of the free, the land of free enterprise, the land of no red tape, no bureaucracy, where it's easy to launch a business, bullcrap. He said, I would probably need 20 different licenses and permits that could take months or even years to get before I could open up a bar. He says, that's why your country's going down the tubes. And it's true. But this was a funny little email I got, which I had here, and Brandy, for some insane reason, decided to rip it up into shreds. So seconds before we went on the air, I used my magical skills to take the stuff and put it back together. But it says it says the economy is so bad that I got a pre-declined credit card in the mail. That's been funny. The economy's so bad, I ordered a burger at McDonald's, and the kid behind the counter said, can you afford fries with that? The economy's so bad that CEOs are playing miniature golf. Yeah, yeah. The economy's so bad, if the bank returns your check marked insufficient funds, you have to call them and ask if they meant you or them who didn't have the money. Hot Wheels. Remember Hot Wheels when we were a kid? Yeah. And Matchbox cars? Yeah. Hot Wheels and Matchbox stocks are trading higher than General Motors. That's how bad the economy is. McDonald's is now selling a quarter ouncer. For those who can't afford the quarter pounder, I suppose. Parents in Beverly Hills and Malibu are firing their nannies and actually learning their children's names. The economy's so bad, a truckload of Americans was actually caught sneaking into Mexico. How bad it is. Dick Cheney took his stockbroker hunting. That's how bad the economy is. Motel 6 won't leave the light on anymore. The economy's so bad, people are struggling with money that the mafia is actually laying off judges. You know those corrupt judges who are on the payroll? The economy's so bad that BP Oil actually laid off 25 congressmen. You know, the congressmen that they're bribing and paying off? Yeah. I like this one. Congress says they're looking into the Bernie Madoff scandal. Oh, great. The guy who made $50 billion disappear is being investigated by the people who made $1.5 trillion disappear. And finally, the economy got so bad. I was so depressed last night thinking about the economy, wars, jobs, my savings, Social Security, retirement funds, and the bleak future that I called the Suicide Lifeline. It was connected to a call center in Pakistan. When I told the guy I was suicidal, he got all excited and asked if I could drive a truck. Okay, maybe it should have been ripped up. All right, lots of fun here. I was in Boston on my holiday, and I was with some friends who have never been in America before, and we were doing some interesting things. They'd never been in the United States, all excited to be in the United States. We went to this grocery store to go grocery shopping. Huge grocery store. First thing they said is, my gosh, America is great. I've never seen a grocery store this big before. This is just an amazing thing. I mean, it's huge. It's amazing. And as we walked around, my friend said, there's no food here. I said, I know. And we pointed out some interesting things. First, we looked at the bread aisle. And he looked at this amazing display of bread. Just amazing display of bread. And he looked and he said, did they bake all of this bread this morning? I said, of course not. This bread has been baked, in some cases, weeks ago and frozen and shipped here. And in some cases, it's been sitting on the shelf for 4, 5, 6 days. And he squeezed it. He goes, well, how is it soft? It has to be hard as a rock, by the end of the day. I said, well, look at the ingredients. And this guy was just amazed. Every single loaf of bread had some type of sweetener in it, mostly high fructose corn syrup, or sugar, or molasses, or barley malt, or some type of sweetener. Now, bread is not supposed to have sweetener in it. All of them had dough conditioners. They had a list of ingredients of 10, 20, 30 ingredients, when bread is supposed to have only 3 or 4. That's all bread is supposed to have. Bread is supposed to be cooked, and as it is in most parts of the world, they bake fresh bread in the morning and fresh bread in the afternoon. That's how it's supposed to be. And we actually, Dr. Ted Morter and I were on the beach in the Bahamas this week, and we have a book, Common Phrases and Their Origins. And there's a phrase called piping hot. Piping hot. And it relates to bread being, it just came out of the oven, and the baker would announce with a pipe that would be announced with a sound that the bread was freshly baked, and now you can eat it, now you can buy it, because people didn't want to have bread that was hours old. They wanted freshly baked bread. And in America, you can't find freshly baked bread anymore. We looked at the dairy case. There was no real cheese. All the cheese had dyes and food colorings. The cheese was pasteurized and homogenized, which is not cheese. If you're getting cheese or yogurt from pasteurized and homogenized dairy, it is not yogurt, it is not cheese. If it comes from cows that aren't grass-fed cows, it's just not cheese. The yogurt was hysterical. There was this huge dairy case with, it looked like a half a mile of different yogurts. It was just enormous. We could not find a plain yogurt. Every one of the yogurts was a flavored yogurt, Dannon, Yoplait, whatever they have there. Every one of them, no fat, low fat, or flavored. And the flavoring, when you read it, they all had high fructose corn syrup in it, or some type of artificial sweetener. We asked the guy, is there any plain yogurt? And he goes, I don't know. So we looked and looked. Oh, here's one, he said. I go, no, that says non-fat. I want real yogurt. We looked and looked and looked. We couldn't find any. Of the hundreds of different yogurts, we couldn't find any yogurts. Butter, you couldn't find any real butter that came from grass-fed cows. Forget raw. That's illegal in most states. Couldn't find any cream. We were trying to find some firewood. I'm staying at a residence there, and I wanted to get some firewood for the fireplace. That's illegal. You have to buy these Duraflame logs. It's bizarre. We were in the grocery store. We looked for smoked salmon. We couldn't find any wild smoked salmon. It all was farm raised, and every one of them had nitrites in it. So there wasn't any real smoked salmon. We looked for jam for bread and toast. We couldn't find any real jam. It all had some type of high fructose corn syrup or something in it. It was bizarre. We couldn't even find any real soap. They all had some type of fragrance in it. It was really a bizarre situation. It was just, when you really look at things in a different light and you find out, what's going on, it just makes you stop and wonder. Just stop and wonder. All right, we got a bunch of stuff to talk about today. I just got back from my trip. Had an amazing time. I wish you were there with us. We had dinner. Was it last night or the night before? Maybe the night before, because I just got back. I'm all confused. At this place called what the heck the name of the place was? Grey Cliff. The Grey Cliff Mansion, which is a private mansion. It's a 5-star restaurant, and they had a lounge in there with a piano. Looked like Ella Fitzgerald was playing the piano and singing. She was fantastic. They had the most exquisite, unbelievable amounts of cognacs and single malt scotches and fresh hand-rolled cigars that they were rolling right there with all these big, beautiful leather couches and chairs, and it was just really cozy, and it was fantastic. So we went in there and had a couple drinks and smoked some cigars, and then went and had our dinner, which was off the charts, world class. Then we went back to the lounge, listened to the music, had another drink, and smoked another cigar, and just had an amazing time. So it was lots of fun. Some of the other things that are interesting, you'll notice, and I was noticing this during the Christmas holiday. I bought some presents, and when I went and bought some presents, I was buying different mechanical items. I bought a television, some other things, and every time I went and bought one of these items, the salesperson would say, "Would you like the service contract on that item?" And I go, "Well, what's the service contract?" "Well, you have to pay us money in case it breaks. We'll fix it for free." I said, "Well, let me ask you a question. This is a brand new television.